Ang video na to ay handog ni cdkoffers.com. Marami kang mahahanap na iba't ibang uri ng software dito. May games, apps, activation codes for Windows 10. Check out our video on CDK Offers in the video description. Mabilis, mura, and syempre legit dito. Madali lang mag-order, search for the software you need, add to cart, check out, daan ka sa payment options nila, wala pa isang minuto, finished. May legit working CDK ka na sa software na pinili mo. Gamitin ang aming promo code para makakuha pa ng extra 20% discount sa purchase mo. Kung naghahanap ka ng mura, legit, and original software, check out cdkoffers.com.
Yeah, it's at the bottom.
Yeah, I got it. All right, that should. Thanks, BJ David. That should be better. What's up, internet? I hate streaming, and I hate streaming from a place that I'm not familiar with. But we're streaming from my brother Rafael's room because, for some reason, the internet at my place is good except for streaming. As some of you guys have noticed, na palaging putol-putol when I'm streaming, and that's really super frustrating for everybody. So here I am at my brother's place again for the first episode of CryptoWatch, which replaces Media Diet. I had a good time doing Media Diet, but parang I was the only one having a good time. So let's try something maybe a bit more popular. The first stream that we did for the basics on cryptocurrencies, like how to trade, especially in our context, like nandito tayo sa Pilipinas, what's the best way to trade cryptocurrency? So that was a particularly popular stream. So let's see if we can do like a 1-month show on crypto. So the basic format is we'll start with news, and then then the second part is like I'll give examples of my own trades over time, and the third is like trading tips. Sup, ITX Addict? Yes, the ultimate man cave for my brother. Unfortunately, I don't get to live here. But it is quite nice. Enjoying his setup here with the Blue Yeti mic. Actually, everything here is better than my setup. The computer is better. The mic is better. He's even using a gimbal for a tripod, where I just use like a regular tripod. So that is sobering. Jim Rayner from Facebook, hope crypto crashes permanently. Wag naman, because I still have some money in it. But I am hoping, this is a good correction for everybody. We'll get into it a little bit. GPU prices have gone down, especially now because the Chinese have kicked out a lot of their miners. But that's our first news item for the day, so we'll get into that into a little bit. But shout out Rim Ledab, shout out, and Jade Torres, but shout out, both from YouTube. Actually, before you guys, I mean, alongside you guys, I also want to shout out to... We had members, guys, that... Thank you to our new YouTube members. Sorry, again, this isn't my setup, so medyo kinakapa ko pa, like, what the heck is going on? But let me say thank you first to the new members, which we haven't been able to do in a while. To be honest, we forgot to last Pwede Magtanong. But shout out to Rhay Catz, Suzu Ren, who is a returning member. Thanks, Suzu Ren. And Rafael James. Thanks for joining the YouTube membership. So, first up, the Chinese Crackdown. So, as even those of you who aren't trading in crypto but are concerned about GPU prices have probably heard that the Chinese have started cracking down. This is not the first crackdown of China. Every now and then, they get it into their heads na, we don't like miners, isipa na natin yung mga to. Let's prohibit it. No more mining allowed. Although, to be fair, this seems to be the most serious crackdown I've ever seen. By some estimates, it's around 90% of all miners in China have shut down. So that is quite significant. One of the reasons why the crypto prices are way down. Pero, ah, sup, Rocky the Programmer is watching us. Nagtatrabaho kami nila Jay and Ren with the wink. Well, it's 4 o'clock on a Friday. I don't think your boss will mind if you guys decide to call it a day. Although I did hear that Jay is designing the shirts and Ren has decided to do the ad. So you guys have a lot of work. And Rocky the Programmer is doing the inventory. So you guys have a lot of work to do. But I don't think your boss will mind if you kind of slack off at 4 p.m. on a Friday. So, Chinese news. China is kicking out a lot of their miners, or basically they're saying no more mining allowed. First of all, I do need to preface that, in the title it says why are crypto prices down, but you should really be wary about anyone, me or anyone else, trying to explain crypto to you, because I'm going to be upfront with you that I have I have my theories, I have like cause and effect scenarios in my head, like there was A and therefore it caused B. But again, to be honest, nobody really knows, and that includes me. So these are just my best guesses or hypothetical, probably why this happened. As someone who's watched the crypto space for a long time and who has been on all sides, as a miner, as a gamer, annoyed at miners because GPU prices have gone through the roof, as a trader for a super long time. I've been trading Bitcoin since it was in double digits. I think I got into it when it was like $6. Bitcoin was the first notable crypto, but I think really even the first crypto, how we define a cryptocurrency now. So I was there when it was still $6 and it's around $34,000 now. So I've been watching the space for a long time, but again, don't take everything I say with a grain of salt. Don't believe everybody or anyone really. Do your own research. Try to figure out if you agree with the opinions or not. But anyway. Nico Volante, shout out, what's up? And thanks so much, Nico, for the advice on the cameras. We haven't bought one yet, but we're figuring it out. We're really zooming in on a camera. Although my team who's watching now wants a mirrorless camera. So yeah, that might be the kind of model that we're looking into. But yeah, I hope you learned something about crypto. If you have any questions, feel free to PM me or feel free to put them in the chat. So, China crackdown, a substantial crackdown. By some estimates, 90% of miners in China have been kicked out. And that's one of the major reasons why the price of crypto has tumbled. It's falling like a rock. Just to give some context, the highest, roughly average was around 50,000 USD per Bitcoin. Now it's at around 34. Actually, yesterday or 2 days ago, it fell down to 29,000, but now it's back up to 34,000. So in the short term, at least, this is creating a lot of volatility, which is just a fancy word for saying nobody knows what's going on, and that's why the prices are all over the place, up, down. I mean, even at a drop of like 29K, then biglang tataas siya to 34K. I mean, that's more than 10%. So like if you bought at 29K, may 10% ROI ka na in like 2 days or something. So there's still definitely money to be made in the crypto space, but it's volatile now, even more volatile than usual. I find it super funny when people comment now, oh yeah, crypto is volatile now. It's like, when is it not volatile? Palagi naman yan volatile. I mean, that's personally why I enjoy it so much. It's really a roller coaster. But joking aside, it is even more volatile nowadays. And again, one of the reasons is because China has cracked down. Why has China cracked down? For me, at least there are 2 reasons. Number one is that control. The Chinese government has always been very particular about tracking the inflows of money out of the country. It's another way for them to keep tabs on their populace, which is something they like to do. The Chinese government is, very mindful of what its citizens do. And part of that is tracking how much money they send out, the money outflows how much money is being sent out of the country, because that's an indication of a lot of things. For example, if you're earning a lot of money and you don't want to pay taxes, you send it abroad, for example. So that is tax leakage, or money that they could have taxed but they couldn't because it basically ran offshore. So there are a lot of reasons why governments would track money outflows. We do it as well. A lot of governments, or most major governments, track the outflow of capital, or the outflow of money. So much so that there's a term called hot money, right? Like basically money that just invested very quickly, made a buck, and then escaped, or flowed out of the country again. But with the Chinese, of course, there's that political dimension where they not only like to keep tabs on their citizens, they also like to keep control of their citizens. And one way of doing that is to keep track and secure the outflow of money. And crypto is, of course, very dangerous to that, because it's quite easy to send out money without passing through official government channels. Because if it's your fiat currency, if it's your renminbi or your dollar or your Philippine peso, if it's your Chinese yuan, and I did ask my Chinese friend before, like, why did parang renminbi is, I think, slang for cash, and then yuan is like what they really call their currency, but parang it's interchangeable. Like, you call it renminbi, they'll understand it's Chinese money. Yuan, Chinese money. I think I'm not too sure. I don't trade currencies that are not crypto, that are fiat currencies. So, but I asked my friend, like, so my friend explained to me, like, renminbi is Chinese for cash, but and then that's why it's used as another synonym for their currency. But I believe the official name is yuan. So it's, with crypto, it's quite easy to send money out. You don't need to send it as yuan. You don't need to send it out as dollar. Because if it's a fiat currency, it's much easier to track compared to, again, if it's crypto. And that's why a lot of people have been wary about crypto, just in terms of police action. Like, because it is anonymous, then a lot of people can use it for paying for nefarious or illegal things. And also, it can be used to facilitate money laundering, or simply sending out money that you don't want the government keeping track of. So that's one very good reason why the Chinese would decide to crack down on crypto, because it's an alternative avenue to send money out of China. And of course, the Chinese government is not fond of that, or it's not a fan of having an easy way to send money out. Crazy Player One from YouTube, a shout out. Or is K12? What's your opinion on NFT games? Yes, this is a fascinating topic for me. I've been reading about it, but I've never played the games. But I do know that there was this documentary paid for by the company. So it wasn't fully third party, and it wasn't purely unbiased. But basically, the documentary focused on Filipinos playing games for cash. Like, they earn in crypto, or in the NFT. I think, is it an NFT or it's a crypto? I'm not, because there is a difference. But this for the particular game, I'm not sure if they were earning, but they were earning in Love Potion, which is the I don't know. I don't know if I would describe it as an NFT or a crypto. But they were earning in that, and then you can convert it into peso. So a lot of people were using that, based on the documentary at least, using that to supplement their income, or to fully supplant their income. So that was their sole job, or that is their sole job now. Playing the game to earn Love Potion, which in turn can be traded for Philippine peso. Or is K12 becoming more and more popular, wherein majority of the earnings comes from the said game? What's my opinion? I think it's great that games allow the player to earn something. Kumbaga, as a player kasi, you're spending your time. You're giving your time to the game. So it's nice that these games give you something back in return. Of course, that's an interesting debate. Like, you play a game not to earn, but to enjoy, right? But there are different, depending on the player, right? And if you're doing it for work, then maybe you're better described as a worker rather than as a player, where it's not something you do for enjoyment, where instead it's something you do to earn money. My opinion, it's fine, more power, and I wish more games were like that, because especially it's more fit to a particular kind of game. Let's say the World of Warcrafts, or these RPGs where you need to grind. And hang on, let me check something. And I don't know where Rafael keeps the stats here. Anyway, I do think it's more focused. It's better suited to a particular kind of genre. For example, like an MMO, where you spend hours and hours and hours leveling up your character. So it's kind of nice that the game gives something back to you for your time and your devotion. Although it is a double-edged sword, because once you put in real money, then everything becomes commoditized, for lack of a better word. Anything can be bought. That level 100 sword, you don't need to spend 10,000 hours playing to be worthy of that sword. Now you can just buy it from some schmuck who has a robot going on in the background farming, whatever. So there is that. It's a trade-off. Overall, I think it's a good thing, but I'm not really a purist, actually, to be honest. It destroys the purity of the game and things like that. I think it makes the game more interesting and more rewarding for the player in the long run. So that's my 2 cents on that. But I have never actually played any of the games. They're quite new, where they're upfront that you can trade these. You can earn an NFT or you can earn crypto in that game, and then you can trade it for actual fiat currency. I haven't actually played a game like that, but they are getting to be quite popular. Second reason why China has decided to crack down, or at least from my point of view, on crypto, is that they don't want the competition, because China is actually going to issue a digital yuan. I think they've already started issuing it. They've kumbaga, it's in a beta test na nagpadala na sila to certain citizens, or they've started distributing it. So even China recognizes why crypto would be good. And I think actually it's a fantastic opportunity for any government, any sovereign government, to jump on board and make their own digital currency. The US, ever since World War II, the US dollar has been the currency of choice for international transactions, and the US has reaped a lot of benefits from that. It is the international currency. But now China is nipping at the heels of the US, and part of their strategy is now, let's get ahead of the US in terms of all this digital currency thing. So they are looking to issue their digital yuan. In a lot of ways, China is super advanced. They have for instance, their citizens are much more comfortable being cashless. So they have Alipay, they have all these kind of things where they're comfortable keeping their money just stored in an app, not in a physical currency. And so the digital yuan is perfect for them, because again, they want to keep tabs on their citizens. They want to see, like, who bought this Porsche for, I don't know what the exchange rate is, 500,000 yuan, for example. And the digital yuan is part of their efforts to keep an eye on their citizens, among other things. It is as well a bid to become the future of international financial transactions. So 2 reasons why China has suddenly cracked the whip, and quite hard. Again, it's like, by some estimates, 90% of miners have fled China. Number 1 is that it's a bid to keep tabs on the money outflow, the money flowing out of China. And number 2, it's also because they're clearing the way for their own digital yuan. And what better way to do that than to get rid of their sort of the most marquee name crypto, which is Bitcoin. Let me just go through the comments. BJ David, the Chinese crackdown is enough to put a dent on the GPU price hike, but with the Philippines having a lot of toots or having a high asshole coefficient, I'd call mid 2022 as a time when GPU prices go back to normal. we actually have seen some slight drops, if you will, but nothing major yet, at least from the suppliers. It really has to come from the supplier side, I feel. Once the suppliers drop, then at least retailers like Hardware Sugar, we just usually have a set markup. We'll just follow. Once it drops, we will also drop. It's really, so at least from my point of view, from the shop point of view, it's really dependent on the retailers, or sorry, on the distributors, on our suppliers. Lloyd Padilla, pa-shout. Oh no, wait. Hello, Lloyd Padilla, but you didn't ask for a shout out. Shout out anyway. Shout out. Just my thoughts on the whole Chinese thing. This is actually very good for Bitcoin. In the short run, yes, it caused volatility. 50,000 was the high. Now it dropped to 29K and now around 34K. But I think this is a good thing because there was a lot of the institutional investors usually come from the West. So let's say the pension plans in North America, for example, the hedge funds in the States. But there was some reluctance on the part of some of them to invest in Bitcoin because so many miners, like I think 53% of the entire blockchain, or 53% or 57% of all miners were located in China at one point. And some super smart guys did the math. I don't really follow it, but if you control a certain number of miners, it's actually possible to tamper with the blockchain, which is the holy grail. You're not supposed to be able to do that because the blockchain is the whole point why people trust the currency in the first place. Because I could sell you a Bitcoin, it's authentic, it's legitimate because the blockchain says so. That's the whole mining thing. Mining is when you authenticate or validate transactions, just meaning transfers between people of that cryptocurrency. And that mining is that validation. Checking and doing the crypto, the hash, the math involved to come up with the correct answer and to verify that, yes, this is indeed a valid coin. But I didn't, to be honest, I didn't follow the technical discussion anymore. But supposedly, it is possible if you own or if you control a large number of miners to modify, tamper, or somehow change the blockchain. So some investors, such as Peter Thiel is super famous in the States. He's a famous investor. Early on, he invested in Facebook and things like that. So he's used to making very visionary investments. And he is on record as saying that why he's not very keen on Bitcoin in particular is because of this perception that the Chinese control Bitcoin. But if China has kicked out 90% of its miners, then they need to relocate elsewhere. And a lot of the relocation is happening to places where there's cheap energy, such as Iceland, which is in the West, which is a more open society. Miami, the city of Miami in the States is encouraging Bitcoin miners to come to them. It's saying that, the regulatory market, the regulatory framework in Miami is quite open. And more importantly, we have clean nuclear energy. So nuclear energy is considered clean because it doesn't emit any carbon dioxide. Yes, it does have nuclear waste, but it doesn't contribute to global warming. And I bring this up because Elon Musk, and we'll get into, that's news tidbit number 2, Elon Musk's tweets. But Elon Musk is maybe the number one focal person why the price has also been, like if you could think of one person why the price has been so volatile, it would be Elon Musk. And he said that he wasn't really too keen on Bitcoin anymore because of the impact on the environment. It takes a lot of energy to power all of the miners. And he was saying that, I don't think this is very sustainable. I don't think that's the way forward. And so another possible upside in the long term to China kicking out its miners is that when they relocate, they may relocate to places which feature clean energy. And so that might address some of the concerns of some people. Yes, they're consuming energy, but the energy is produced through clean methods, clean being defined as it does not contribute to CO2 emissions or greenhouse gas emissions. So that would be geothermal, solar, nuclear, things like that. So a very painful short-term correction, but personally, I'm still very bullish. Or it's hard to. I'm not too concerned yet, to be honest, with the whole like price crash thing. And if you look at the prices, yes, that's crazy, right? I mean, 50,000, it almost hit 25, so that's almost like a 50% drop. Again, it's back around to 34 now, talking about Bitcoin. But these are all very for the long term. I think getting out of China is good. Again, because it makes it more enticing for big pension funds who might have been worried before that a lot of the miners were based in China and presumptively under some kind of, or possible presumptively under some kind of Chinese government control. You do want the pension funds, the big guys, to come in because that's when the price will go up at a sustainable rate. When institutional investors get in, when they're confident enough to put their money in there and think that, yes, this is a sound investment. And then, it's a bandwagon thing. Once institutional investors buy into Bitcoin, then tuloy-tuloy na yan. Every mom and pop will be interested. And because of the increase, prices will definitely go up. And number two, why it might be a good thing in the long run, is it allows miners to better source their energy. I'm going to be moving anyway. People have been complaining na mahirap na yung kuryente mo galing sa coal-fired, which is really bad for the environment. Both from a emission CO2 point of view and from a particulate point of view, because coal is emits these very tiny particles into the air, which is bad for your lungs and things like that. So coal is actually bad on two fronts. It emits CO2 and it can emit particles depending on what kind of coal and what kind of plant is burning it. So particulate matter, not and that doesn't even tally up the environmental damage of coal mines, which can be quite devastating. So overall, coal's not very environment friendly. Since the miners are going to move anyway, maybe they want to move to a place like Miami, which has a better climate and which has nuclear energy. And the mayor of Miami actually is super keen on having them there. So, sige, let me just go through the comments. Rocky the Programmer, when is crypto not volatile? Equals when is water not wet? Indeed. Rafael James Tamayo, shout out. Agent Disaster, what technical indicators do you use for crypto trading? The indicator here. Trying to point to my gut. I'm not a very big fan, to be honest, of like looking at the charts and like, oh, it's a big dipper dip and Milky Way. I don't even know the terms. I'm just making it up, to be honest. But that is one way that people trade. They try to look at the patterns and think, based on previous patterns, then there's going to be X dip, truffle, whatever. I mean, they come up with all these fancy names. I'm not a big fan, to be honest. I'm just super basic. I follow the prices, and based on my experience, like, oh, it's gonna go up, it's gonna go down, then I make my bets accordingly. I don't really. I try to follow like how many whales or how many people are at this position, like 34K. But again, it's just something I read about. It's not something I super obsess about, and maybe it's like 15% of my consideration when I actually buy. Ham, Smooth Love Potion. Yes, that's from Axie Infinity. Rocket Programmer, grabe yung head movement. Yeah, because it's like Rafael, my brother, has his primary monitor in front of me, and then he has the ultra wide here on the right. So actually, I'm not used to it. ITX Addict, you buy an NFT and playing the game develops the NFT somehow. Oh, so you have to buy the NFT first and kind of you use it in game. I didn't know that. That would be cool though. Let's say you get a level 1 sword. So it's an NFT, so it's unique, right? And then you use it throughout the game. So you're leveling it up. And then level 100 na siya. That would be nice kasi parang may investment ka. So masakit when you actually sell it. Again, of course, you can just put a bot to like level it up for you. But that might be an interesting way to at least give to translate the investment of the player's time into monetary value, like the specific items, armor, things like that. Lionel from Facebook, what's up? M. Carlos, what's your foresight on crypto in the next year? I'm hesitating because I don't really have a forecast. Again, I'm a very unsophisticated trader. Although I am expecting it to go up. 29K is quite low already. It's probably going to stay at this level for maybe two or so months, and then something always comes up that will excite people and get them back into crypto. The miners will have set up again wherever they've relocated and things like that. So I don't really have long-term outlooks. Although in general, economies are supposed to pick up this year because a lot more people are getting vaccinated. The States has certainly done an admirable job of vaccinating and getting people back to normal. I saw news that Airbnbs are super in demand. Like Airbnb is actually paying people to list their properties because they can't meet up with demand. That's how pent up the demand is to travel in the States. And they're only like around 50% vaccinated. So in general, the economy is heating up, and I would expect that to translate into higher crypto prices as well. The caveat, of course, being is that everybody's concerned about inflation. And that is a big, that's a sort of Damocles hanging over everything. That's a very big concern for everybody. If inflation does spiral out of control, I expect crypto will drop. Some people are speculating that people will flock to crypto if inflation goes up because it's a hedge against inflation. Kumbaga, my paper money is becoming worthless, so I'm going to put it in something that retains its value, i.e. cryptocurrency. But to be honest, I don't think that crypto is there yet as a sort of institutional source to keep your value. Feeling ko babagsak din yan. Kung bumagsak yung ekonomiya, if the wider economic trend is downward, stocks are down, wages are stagnant, inflation is super high, I don't think crypto is not gold, basically. People won't flock to it to retain the value of their money. I think crypto will also drop. So I'm cautiously optimistic about maybe the next 6 months, but inflation is a big deal. Primarily because a lot of smart people have said that high inflation is very likely. And that's not good for anybody, to be honest. Crypto traders, stock traders, fiat currency traders, but more importantly, for everybody, for you, me, for the regular guy on the street, high inflation is a terrible thing to happen. Your McDo meal, which cost 100, can tomorrow cost 110. So that's 10% increase in after a day, diba? I mean, that kind of very high inflation is not good for anyone. And some smart people have actually investors have started putting their money, adjusting their portfolios to take into consideration very high inflation. Which for me, again, I'm just a regular schmuck, wondering what to do with the little that I've saved up. That's very concerning. Kinakabahan ako when smart people with lots of money start putting their money into positions na talagang, kumbaga, put your money where your mouth is eh. Sinasabi nila, tingin ko talaga tataas yung inflation and this is what I'm going to do. Once they start putting their money where their mouth is, that's really when I start getting frightened. And some investors have started doing that. So, that is perhaps the greatest challenge in the next 6 months. It's not Elon, although we'll talk about Elon. It's not China. But I think a super high inflation rate would be devastating to crypto as well as the larger economy in general. Hello, Jaspers. So pwede magtanong question, pero is R5 to 600 paired with 1650 good nowadays? Pwede naman. That's fine. To be honest, I would prefer a 3000 series CPU with maybe a 1660 or a 1660 Super. The 1650 doesn't really do it for... Parang kasi medyo... Yung 1660, medyo maasahan mo na kaya niya lahat ng games. Maybe not the fastest, maybe not at the max settings, but 1660 is very good for a wide variety of games. Yung 1650 kasi parang kulang eh. It's like, it's like almost there but not quite. But if that's what your budget can allow, yeah, that's fine. Like that's better than my computer, to be honest. R5 2600 with 1650, not too bad. ITX Addict expressing doubt that Elon was expressing doubt on Elon's opinion on why or the reasoning behind Elon's tweet. So let's get into Elon's tweets. So China is a big government, and anything that they do will have an impact, whether it's on crypto or semiconductor manufacturing or global politics. Try not to mention our own the Philippines' beef with China because it's not really relevant here. But China's a super big country. Whatever they do will have reverberations elsewhere. But if there's one individual who has really who can sway the crypto markets with a word, it's Elon Musk. So he was a big fan of Dogecoin, Dogecoin. So when Elon Musk tweets, the market crashes or the market rises. And to be fair, it's not just crypto. Elon Musk got in trouble before with the US SEC. The SEC is the governing body that regulates corporations. And if you're a corporation, your officers, and we're talking about Tesla here, and of which Elon Musk is the CEO and president. CEO, I think. You're not allowed to say certain things. It's kind of like the NBA. If you notice, if you're a basketball player fan, if you're a basket fan, tapos yung NBA, tapos may magti-tweet na general manager na, uy, player X, baka gusto mo lumipat sa amin. Yun, bawal yun. And so they get fined, right? It's the same way with the SEC. Because companies, especially publicly listed companies like Tesla, they're not allowed to do certain things. So like Elon Musk was tweeting like, I'm going to take the company private and I already have a buyer. I already have an investor that will buy out all of the stock that's currently out on the market publicly and we're going to make it private. You're not allowed to do that. The SEC fined Elon for those tweets and even basically said that Elon needs to have anything that Elon tweets, he has to pass it through a committee on Tesla. But the amazing thing about Elon Musk is that a lot of people bitch about him and they try to restrict him, but they don't follow through. So that, that committee thing was a joke. Elon tweets whatever the hell he wants. And the crypto markets got hit because he initially seemed to be a big backer, let's say, of Bitcoin and Dogecoin. Bitcoin kasi, Tesla last year started taking it as payment. So imagine it's this up-and-coming company. Everybody's heard about Tesla. Everybody's heard about Elon Musk. And then suddenly Elon Musk is the guy with the laser eyes. That's the meme on the internet. If you're a big Bitcoin guy, you take your picture and then you put laser eyes. You put red here sa mata mo. So suddenly Elon Musk became a laser eyes guy. It's like, super big into crypto. Tesla started accepting it as payment. So that was a big thing that also helped lift the price of Bitcoin. But then more recently, he appeared on Saturday Night Live. He didn't say anything positive about crypto. So Dogecoin crashed. Later on, he tweeted that he's not really... Tesla will stop accepting Bitcoin as payment because it's bad for the environment, which is what the electricity that the miners use is sourced from dirty sources. And dirty, again, refers to it, it produces a lot of emissions. So the price of Bitcoin dropped and has been dropping. It's like a 1-2 punch. You got a Chinese on one hand, and then you have Elon Musk on the other. So it's been very volatile. And that's Elon Musk is another reason why the price is currently depressed at the moment. It's actually interesting why Elon decided to accept Bitcoin for Tesla. He said he wanted to prove that it was liquid. Like you you accept Bitcoin and then you can sell it right away. And he actually proved that because at one point, Tesla made more money selling Bitcoin or from its proceeds of Bitcoin than it did from its actual car sales. Kasi grabe nga naman talaga yung Bitcoin. If you get it at a certain price, tapos biglang tumaas siya, that's like a gain of 30% or something. I don't know what the ROI is on a Tesla car, but I can guarantee you it's not 30%. Established car makers like Toyota, like Honda, the ultimate ROI on a car is like something like 5%. That's why they need to be super efficient and cut out all waste and cut out all possible avenues of wastage because their profit margins are so thin. When I read about it, I was like, wow, can you imagine all that trouble to make 5%? You invest billions in design, in factories, you employ thousands of people, not just primarily, but also subsidiarily because you have to get ang daming mga car part manufacturers na they supply the big guys, so like the widgets and the spokes and whatever, the airbags, which are always getting car makers in trouble. So imagine all that trouble for a 5% net return. I mean, you can do that with crypto in one day, on a good day, right? Even more. So that figure has always struck with me, the ROI of the car industry, and these are established guys, right? I guarantee you that the Tesla ROI is nothing like 30% or whatever you can make on a good day of crypto trading. Just to go back to the point, Tesla was making more money at one point with its Bitcoin transactions than it was actually selling cars. And that, according to Elon Musk, that's why he did it. So that to prove that Bitcoin was liquid, that you can accept it and just trade it for cash quite quickly. To be honest, I don't know. I kind of share ITX Addict's suspicions regarding his tweet. Why he decided to get out of crypto. Again, it's not like it was a big secret that Bitcoin mining uses a lot of energy and a lot of that energy is not very clean. So it's like, parang ngayon mo lang nalaman yan, Elon. I mean, and Elon is a smart guy. He's probably up to date with all sorts of things. And that's one thing he's famed for, actually getting super nitty-gritty and going into the very detailed aspects of everything. So, he just might have thought na the Tesla experiment with Bitcoin has proved its point. It's liquid. It's actually quite hard for US corporations to accept crypto right now because of the accounting rules. Like, as companies, you do need to submit audited financial statements and things like that. The way crypto is accounted for right now is not very favorable. So that on paper, at least, it looks like your company isn't earning as much as it is. And of course, companies always want to look like they're earning as much as possible because that draws in more investors, makes the public think that you're a reputable and solid company. So maybe Elon was like, yeah, good experiment. We had fun. Time to get out. Or maybe Elon is just crazy because he's Elon Musk and he doesn't really need to give a damn anymore and he just tweets whatever the hell he wants. It's also a possible explanation. It doesn't need to be a rational explanation is what I'm saying. And I'm not here to read the mind of Elon Musk, but that's just news bit number 2. Elon Musk's tweets have been really impacting the price of cryptocurrencies. So much so that people have come up with a new cryptocurrency called Stop Elon, the proceeds of which they're going to invest in activities to stop Elon Musk. So people have been begging Elon, please stop tweeting. But he's still, he doesn't give a damn. He's the second richest man or the number one richest man. But he basically can do whatever the hell he wants. But I think it's an indication of how immature the crypto world is, that a one tweet from Elon Musk can send the price spiraling. Although to be fair, it's not just crypto. Again, a lot of industries live and die with the one tweet of Elon Musk. I mean, he has amassed a lot of influence for himself. It's not just money. To be fair, Elon Musk isn't so much interested in the money, as far as I can tell. Yes, he says he's not interested in the money, but aside from that, it's like his actions. He's not really interested in like the fancy cars and the house and things like that. But he has amassed a lot of money and a lot of influence. A lot of people look to him. So it is an indication that crypto really isn't there yet, that it can be bowled over by just the word of one man. But at the same time, Elon Musk does that to a lot of industries. So it's kind of like a tit for tat kind of thing. All right. The next tidbit is so yeah, I had my last news tidbit with a fusion of the super smart rich guy and the NBA. Because Mark Cuban, who is the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, for the NBA fans out there, also a tech billionaire in his own right, he basically invested in a crypto called Titan. Is it Titan? Yeah, Titan token. So he invested in Titan token, which at one point hit a high of around $64. But around last week, it's basically worthless now. So like from 64, it crashed to 0. And what happened? Basically a bank run. Some investors who had a lot of Titan started pulling out, and that caused a bank run, meaning everybody who had Titan was like, oh my God, why are people pulling out? I'm also going to sell now, otherwise baka I'll end up with nothing. And so the problem with bank runs is that it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. People think that whatever asset, whatever bank is insolvent or they won't be able to get their money, they rush to get their money, and so it perpetuates itself. The thing you feared is what happened because you tried to prevent the thing that you feared. Or you tried to prevent, you thought it might happen, and in doing so, you actually caused it to happen. So there was a bank run on Titan, and Mark Cuban, basically his investment is worthless now. I don't know how much he invested, but in his words, he took a hit. So this is a billionaire saying that, yeah, I kind of lost some money on that. I took a hit. I just bring up Mark Cuban because even the smart people can make mistakes. Even the super savvy business people who are used to dealing with a lot of money, who are used to dealing with risky investments, who are used to taking on a lot of risk, they can make mistakes or they can make bad bets, because that's, whether you're a small player, a big player, that's what you're doing when you invest in any cryptocurrency. You're making a bet. You're betting that this thing will go up in at least the foreseeable future. Because if you need money by next year, it does you no good if it goes up in 2 years, right? So you're making a bet that this thing will go up within a specific amount of time. And that's a very hard thing to do. And even smart people like Mark Cuban get it wrong. So that's what you should take away from the takeaway from that is that be cautious when you're investing in crypto. Don't spend all your money. Always leave some in reserve. Only spend money that you can afford to lose. Because not everybody is like Mark Cuban. When he's sad, he can just watch a basketball game being played by his own team, right? I mean, he has a lot of money left to burn. A lot of us, myself included, need to be careful with what we invest. So crypto is a wild ride, and savvy businessmen also get taken for a ride sometimes. Kung sila, mas lalo pa tayo, di ba? All the more reason to be cautious and to be careful. So, that's it for the news, and it's kind of all doom and gloom. But why am I still kind of upbeat about the crypto market? Because we've been here before, guys. If you watch crypto, if you've been following crypto for any length of time, you know that palaging ganito. Palaging super hot yung market. Everybody and their mother jumps in. Like, people I know who had suddenly no interest in crypto suddenly start messaging me na, "Uy, Anton, nagka-crypto ka para? Paano ba to?" Or, "Oh, did you invest in this?" And things like that. It is wild, man. Kapag sobrang init to market like it was 2 months ago when like it hit 50K and things like that, everybody and their mother suddenly wants to invest and starts to invest. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm just saying that's the way it is. The market really heats up super quickly and it spreads like wildfire. And just as quickly, it goes cold. The market crashes like a rock. Suddenly, prices are depressed. They're frigid. It's ice cold, man. From 50K, bumagsak 20 to 29K just a few days ago. And again, we've seen this before. If you're a Battlestar Galactica fan, I'm laughing to myself kasi I used to mention that a lot on Media Diet, and this show is supposed to replace Media Diet, but here I am still talking about BSG. Excuse me. If you're a BSG fan, you know that a popular expression on that show was all this has happened before and it will happen again. Ganun rin sa crypto. Sobrang taas nung rise, sobrang wild nung bagsak. Paikot-ikot lang yan. I think, personally, this was a good correction. The market was getting super hot. Kinakabahan ako when it's super hot because I don't know how it will go. To be honest, I was expecting it to crash. I wasn't expecting it to crash this hard, to be honest. I was expecting a crash, but not this hard. But that it has crashed, I am actually thankful for. And that's why I'm upbeat because, again, this happens pretty regularly. Market is super hot, market is super cold. So, and when the market is super cold, that's when everybody suddenly becomes a crypto expert and they're like, sabi ko na sa'yo pangit yung investment na yan. Hindi naman talaga gumagana yung crypto. Wala namang intrinsic value yan. We can have a whole episode on people debating like, why is Bitcoin worth 34,000? Neither is your fiat currency because it's no longer backed up by gold reserves, which they were before. But I don't want to get into it. But basically, all the crypto skeptics come out kapag sobrang lamig na ng market. They're like, oh, I told you that wouldn't work. And tinan mo, init ngayon, no? Ang taas ng presyo dati. Ngayon, ang baba na, no? How much money did you lose? Parang ganyan. Yung mga I feel like there are a lot of people na medyo may Schadenfreude na parang they derive pleasure from the fact that the crypto market has crashed. A lot of gamers, to be fair, a lot of PC people do like it when it crashes because that means GPU prices might return to normal. That's different from actually just deriving pleasure because you think people have lost money, which to be honest, I think it's kind of mean. At least, when PC guys like, oh yes, bagsak to si Bitcoin, parang they're only doing it because they want prices to go down. But some people that I hear comment like, oh, bagsak ni Bitcoin, hehehe. Parang feeling ko masaya lang sila kasi they feel na people have lost money. Which I think is, kind of mean, and I don't, the criticism kinda, it's not well thought out, the criticism, because you're just happy it fell because people lost money compared to the fact that, I don't believe that crypto is good for the environment, and so I'm happy that less people are doing it. I mean, things like that. That for me is a more valid criticism than, yes, I'm happy it fell, and I'm happy because it falling meant that other people lost money. But be that as it may, kani-kanyang opinion. Personally, again, I'm quite happy na medyo bumagsak yung market. Again, I didn't expect it to go down this much. Damn, Dogecoin. Even damn Bitcoin, like 29K, man. Gosh. Pero, that's why I always live by two maxims when I'm investing. It can always go higher. That price that you think na, parang benta ko na ba? It can always go higher. But it can always go lower. Yung price na to, ito na ba yung lowest? Baka dapat bumili na ako. It can always go lower. That's one maxim I always think about when I'm investing. It can always go higher. It can always go lower. And number two, be greedy when others are afraid, and be afraid when others are greedy. Kapag sobrang taas yung market and everybody and their mother is jumping in because they're greedy to get in on profits and they're like, hearing about crypto for the first time, doon ako natatakot. Kasi ang wild talaga nun. Parang you can't predict like what everybody is jumping, and it's insane that Ethereum went up to like 5,000K or something. Now it's less than 2,000. It was like 1.9. I think it's recovered. I think it's slightly 2,000 now, but it's like 1.8, 1.9 yesterday. So that's like more than... No, I think it hit 6,000 actually. So it has lost more than 50% of its value, Ethereum or something. So I get really anxious. Dun ako, di ako makatulog pag, when the market super heats up and a lot of people are interested. But now that everybody has run away, that's the time na, okay, now's the time to buy. I don't know when the dip will be. I don't know kung ito na ba yung pinakamababa niya. But when others are afraid, that's the time I want to be greedy. The prices are depressed. Now's the time to buy. Nakakatakot when it's all-time highs every day. Parang like last month, it was all-time high Bitcoin, all-time high Ethereum. Tapos yung problema doon, yung FOMO fear of missing out na, God, I didn't buy, tapos package ng pakyat. Dapat binili ko ng Ethereum at 4,000, ngayon 4,500 na siya. FOMO is real, especially in the cryptocurrency market where, it happens so quickly. And that's why I don't like it when prices heat up too fast kasi mahina yung willpower ko I can only hold my FOMO for so long before I'm like, pucha, sige nga, bilhin ako ng Dogecoin. God damn it. So that's why I like it when you medyo controlled. Yung medyo like cool down muna tayo, guys. Cool down. Because at least then I can keep my FOMO in check. But just to illustrate, so I'm gonna put my own wow. Forgot how much doing these one-man streams. how much saliva I end up using. But I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is just to illustrate that I like buying when it's super down. The best example would be last year, March 2020. At least here in the Philippines, that's when we first experienced the first hard lockdown. As in, sabi ng gobyerno, bawal lumabas ng bahay. Then people started issuing these quarantine passes and dami pang mga... I'm not a fan of the quarantine pass, to be upfront. I think that's kalokohan. I don't think it's efficient. But March 2020 is when we started doing our first major lockdown. It was super hard to move anything, move people, move money, etc. And because that's also when crypto started hitting the States and the Western countries, that's when COVID rather started hitting Western countries really hard. Italy, Spain, the US. That's when crypto dropped like a rock, man. It's like whatever it was, it slumped way down. So for example, the lowest price I got my and so me, again, I'm saying that be greedy when others are afraid. Everybody was effing afraid. I was also afraid, but yun nga, let's, put my money where my mouth is. That's what I say. That's what I do. So, bumabagsak yung presyo, time to buy. To be honest, sobrang hirap bumili nun Kasi getting Philippine pesos into any kind of account that could fund buying crypto meant like you had to go out and there were limits on like the banks and the banks wouldn't, whatever, sobrang hassle nun. But I really thought it was good investment, so I went out. The lowest price I got Bitcoin for was $6,145. Bumagsak yung Bitcoin price to $6,145. And imagine mo yan, right now it's at around 34,000, 33,000. Bumagsak na si Bitcoin That's not even the highest at 50,000 per Bitcoin. Bumagsak na siya right now to around 34 or 33. So even with this major correction, if I sold, because I haven't sold that Bitcoin, if I sold, I'm not saying I have one Bitcoin, guys. Please don't kidnap me. I'm saying that I bought some Bitcoin at that price. Kasi if I had one Bitcoin at that price, di na ako mag-ano. Bakasyon na to. Di ko kailangan mag-stream, di ko kailangan maghirap pa sa shop, di ba? Pucha, kung dami ko palang Bitcoin at $6,000. I'm saying I bought some Bitcoin, but it's very, very small. But even with the super major correction, if I sell it now at 34,000 per Bitcoin sa 34 US for 34,000 US per Bitcoin, that's like a return on investment of like 500% more, like 5 times what you put in. So if you put in 10,000 pesos, if binenta mo right now, 50,000 na yun. So even with this major market correction, that is still a very, very insane ROI on something. I didn't just double my money, quadruple money, pentaple it, pentakill, parang ganun. Not just Bitcoin, because I do invest in other cryptos because it's good to diversify your portfolio. OMG, which is a crypto, I have no idea what it does, and I have no idea what who's issuing it, what the plans are. Again, that's what I'm saying. I just follow the prices. Somebody asked me in the chat earlier, what technical indicators do I follow? Yung nga, just the prices. I've seen this thing para maganda yung performance over time. So I bought in. Last March 2020, it was at 80 cents. Now it's at around $4.20. So again, that's like a return of 8 times 5 is 40. Yeah, so like that's a return of 5 times or around 500% on an unknown cryptocurrency. OMG. OMG talaga. Have I sold those crypto that I bought at the height of the lockdown last year. No. Because for me, crypto is a long-term play. I very rarely, if I get to buy it at a really good price, I very rarely sell it. I do buy and sell. So let's say I wish I had bought at 29. If I had bought at 29, binenta ko na yan ngayon at 34. Money in the bank, man. Don't be greedy. That's in the current investment environment. If you were savvy enough to buy at 29, I would sell now at 34. Money in the bank, wait for it to drop, buy again. So I do buy and sell, buy low, sell high. But when I get crypto na sobrang mura, ta sobrang tumaas, I very rarely sell that. Kasi tingin ko na sa kanya, long-term investment na yon. If OMG hit $4.20, why can't it hit $10 in the future or something like that? Fortunately, I don't need the money pa naman. So, if I get crypto at a very low price, I keep it as a long-term investment. Which brings me to my trading tip for the day, which is staking. Ano ba yung staking? Staking also is one of the reasons why I don't mind that it's a cold market right now, or cold in the sense na sobrang baba ng presyo niya compared to what it was like just a month ago. Because I've staked a lot of my currencies. Staking is basically like a time deposit. You go to your exchange and you tell them, I want to stake my crypto. Staking or crypto... Sorry, I'm about to hiccup. Excuse me. Staking... only certain cryptocurrencies can be staked. So you can stake Bitcoin, Ethereum, Kava, Tezos or XTZ. I think I mentioned ADA or Cardano already. So there are a bunch of... Not all cryptocurrencies can be staked. Staking is basically like a time deposit, but you can get it back anytime. So you go to your exchange and you tell them, I want to stake my 0.001 Bitcoin. They'll take the Bitcoin, and at least for my exchange, they'll give you interest on it. Kaya nga siya parang time deposit. And they'll deposit that interest twice every week, at least in the case of my exchange, which is Kraken. Yung maganda pa dito, you can take it out anytime. So, you can stake the coin, and then you can earn interest. Mababa yung market ngayon, no problem. I'm still earning because I'm earning interest in that coin. If I stake Bitcoin, the interest also comes back to me in Bitcoin. And then, pag mataas na yung market, pwede ko na ibenta yung principal. Pwede ko na mabenta yung interest. So, your money isn't sleeping with staking. You're earning interest in that crypto. And yung maganda pa dito, it's not locked in. You can get it back anytime. And it's not like a TD na, you need to put it in for 6 months. And if you pre-terminate, let's say, month 2 pa lang, pwede mo nang i-terminate. You can terminate it, but then you won't get the interest. Hindi siya ganun. You'll still keep all of the interest that you've already accumulated at the time that you remove or unstake the crypto. So, for me, staking, which is a relatively recent innovation. Wala pang ganito 2 years ago, maybe, I think. It's great, man. One of the reasons why I don't mind this cold market so much is because I really bought crypto with staking in mind. I looked at, what crypto is offering high staking interest rate. And then I really bought into those. To be honest, this isn't my computer, so I don't have my portfolio here. So I can read out the cryptos that I specifically bought. But like Tezos, I've staked. Bitcoin, I've staked. I'll talk a little bit later about staking Ethereum because that's an exception. Kava, I think also I've staked. Dogecoin, you can't stake. At least you can't stake it yet in Kraken. So staking, the interest rates are good but not spectacular. But at least your money is earning something. Plus, the nice thing about crypto is the prices really skyrocket so fast. So, let's say you bought a currency at $1, one coin, $1. You get 10 coins. You stake it at 6%. And then over time, that's per annum. So over time, let's say you were able to earn 1. That 1 coin that you earned as interest, before it was $1 because that was the value of the crypto at the time. But then what if it goes up? So you earn 2 ways through staking crypto. You earn through the intrinsic interest that you earn. You're really going to get an X amount of crypto based on how much the interest rate is and how much you put in, but you also earn when the currency goes up, because your interest isn't fixed at that price. The chances are quite high that the price of that crypto will go up and you'll also earn from that. Which is why I super like staking. I don't know. I guess a lot of exchanges do it. Again, I only trade for foreign exchanges. I only use Kraken. None of the local exchanges that I know of and that I use. So I use Bloom, CoinsPH, and PDAX. None of those three yet support staking. I don't know if the popular foreign exchanges, like Binance or Coinbase, I don't know if they allow staking. They probably do. If Kraken does it, then probably those guys do as well. I just stick with Kraken. I like the interface. I'm familiar with it. I trust them with my money. So, which is another reason why I like using Kraken over the local exchanges for my primary exchanges or my primary trading. So that was my investment advice for this episode. Seriously consider staking. If you're using local exchanges that don't support staking, I would suggest opening an account in the foreign exchanges just so you can stake. Kasi right now, we don't know when the prices will go up. Now's a really good time. Your money's not being wasted. It's still earning interest if you stake. Before I get to the chat, just a word on staking and for Ethereum. For all other currencies, it's like a time deposit. You put your money in, there's a fixed interest rate. You can take it out anytime. You also get the interest that you earn. So you get the principal and the interest. Except from Ethereum, because it's in the process of upgrading its blockchain. We can do an entire episode on the differences that are being implemented. To be honest, I haven't really followed the technical specs on what they're planning to do with Ethereum 2. But when you stake Ethereum, they tell you that you can't take it out, and you'll only get your principal and your interest once the upgrades to the blockchain have been completed. So Ethereum is the one exception where the crypto that you put in, the Ethereum that you put in, that's locked in, and the interest is also locked in. So it's very possible that you could never get any interest and that you've lost the principal because hindi na talaga matuloy yung upgrading ng blockchain ni Ethereum for whatever reason. Although I have, just again putting money where my mouth is, I have staked. I am bullish on staking Ethereum. I've done it myself, and I continue to do so. Because I believe in that particular coin. It's one of the first coins to look at crypto and say that, yeah, that's cool, but we can improve it. Like the concept of crypto, let's really use it to the best of its ability. So it allows smart contracts and things like that. So the stakeholders seem particularly invested. So I am quite bullish on the future of Ethereum. I think that they will push through with the planned upgrades that they're talking about, and that my money that I put in is not wasted. That I will eventually get the principal and the interest. But that's one thing you should note about staking Ethereum. It's not like the other crypto where you can pull out at any time. All right. Okay, that was my talkie part for the talkie part for the for this stream. Let's sorry. Usually when I'm streaming from my place, I have the monitor in front of me so I can see the chat. But now Rafael has it like here, dito sa side. So I get the okay, now I flipped it over. Let me just go through some chats or some of the chat messages. Myok, shout out. Carlo Paulino, have you heard of Windows 11? I have not yet tried it. Generally, I don't pay attention to the beta versions. Although I do know a lot of tech YouTubers get a lot of views because a lot of people are interested in like, oh, kamusta na ba yung bagong Windows and things like that. But I'm not really a believer in like teasing people like that. Kasi beta version pa lang naman eh. And you know, everybody will get to see it eventually. So I don't really go out of my way to do those kind of previews na, oh, labas yung Windows 11, download ko, tas ano pala, leak lang pala. Papa Chris, ano po yung gamit mo na mic? This is my brother's mic. It's the Blue Yeti, which he quite likes. Sobrang ano daw. Tuwang-tuwa si Rafael sa Blue Yeti. ITX Addict, it's a huge gamble. That's why it's so addictive. I completely agree. It is a gamble. It is a gamble. And whenever I talk about crypto with my friends, I always use poker language. It's you're placing your bet. Sometimes it's a value bet na, yeah, you know, it'll probably go down, but there's a chance it'll go up, so I want to make a value bet and things like that. So whenever I talk about crypto, I usually use the language of gambling, specifically of poker, because I do think it is gambling because you don't really have any control. I can't shut up Elon Musk. I can't shut up the Chinese government. So you just gotta kind of roll with it. You again, it's like gambling. You see the cards that you have and you try to make the best out of that. Random Ren says for the technical stuff, the best is support and resistance. I agree. I do tend to take a mental note, like usually where the support and resistance levels are. So yes, in that sense, I do use those technical markers. But for me, that's just a function of following the prices. Once you're comfortable with the prices, you will instinctively already like figure out na, oh, like it's been quite stable at 34. That's why I was surprised when it dropped to 29. But now it's back up to 34 again. So 34 is a good resistance level, so to speak, right now. But so yes, I do use tech resistance and what's the other one? Support and resistance. Although I don't think of them in those terms. Roji, di ba ang reason kaya bumaba ang price ng crypto kasi marami nag-sell out? I guess, yes, but why did, I mean, it's sort of like, that's the ultimate effect, right? I mean, why did lots of people sell out? It's because of China, because of Elon Musk. It's because they lost confidence in it as an investment. Jacob Manolo, Axie. No, I really don't have, I mean, any chance to talk about it? I talked about it briefly at the start of the stream. I only know about it in concept. I've never actually played the game. But again, I understand nga na people play the game, they earn love potion, and then you can trade that love potion for Philippine peso. But I don't really feel qualified to talk about it beyond that because I haven't really played the game. Yan de la Cruz, Hardware Sugar, thank you sa Don Papa. Inom tayo dyan sa store soon. Yes, when everybody... Actually, I want to do that with my staff. When everybody's vaccinated and everything, inuman tayo sa shop. But we have to be quiet because I don't know. I don't know if the landowner will appreciate us turning it into a bar. Turning the shop into a bar. It's not a bar technically because we're not serving, like we're not selling the drinks, right? But medyo strict kasi yung land, yung ano namin building namin. Rocky the Programmer, meron ding small Makati computer store, may sariling crypto, selling it as candy points daw. I really wouldn't know about that. I'll have to talk to the developers about that. XRP, Rems. I'm actually, yes, I do have some XRP. I think it was at around 40 cents actually, but it's around 60 cents now. I'm not sure if I remember the prices correctly. But man, that was like a 50% gain if you got in at around 40 cents. Parang nung chinek ko 46 cents. But now it's around 69. Well down from its all-time high though. I think it's like $1 plus for the all-time high. ITX Addicts agrees. XRP is awesome. XRP or Ripple actually is under investigation now by the US SEC, and it took a hit. And when I heard that news like 2-3 months ago, I thought, oh well, that's it for XRP. But again, that's why you should take what I say with a grain of salt because I was wrong on that one. I thought that it would affect them, and it affected them by making the prices go up for some reason. XRP, even before the all-time high started hitting, XRP was on a very clear upward trend, like ever since they started fighting back against the US SEC. Ripple actually is also interesting because it was the whole point of the Ripple coin is to allow easier sending of money between countries, and specifically for OFWs. So that's of particular interest to us Filipinos. Let's say yun nga, may yung asawa mo, seafarer, nasa cruise ship or something, he docks in Italy, he wants to send money back here. Instead of having to use Western Union or things like that, Ripple was supposed to make it easier and to cut back on the transaction costs. I haven't actually had to send Ripple using that, so I don't know how successful they've been. But yeah, Ripple is... I would consider Ripple as a blue chip cryptocurrency. Like, yung maasahan mo na kung babagsak, tataas din siya, hindi naman siya mawawala. Leaf, off topic, I upgraded my PLDT internet to Converge Fiber, and it's so much better. I personally hate PLDT. One of the early videos on our YouTube channel is me complaining about PLDT because they left me hanging for more than a month. And I am using Converge now. I super agree that their service is much better. Although the reason why I'm streaming from Rafael's room is that for some reason I can't stream properly from my house. And I've tried everything to do on my end. So I might need to contact Converge and ask them to reset the connection on their end or something like that. Leaf, I have a video about affordable microphones from Shopee or Lazada. That sounds like a good idea. We'll get Rafael to do that. Parang he seems more... Rafael is better at reviews like that. Rolando Guevara, wise words from Warren Buffett. Yes, that quote I said earlier, I think is from Warren Buffett. Be greedy when others are afraid, and be afraid when others are greedy. Sobrang words to live by. Yun talaga when I'm investing, of course, don't be stupid, right? I mean, be prudent with your money. Make research, make your own decisions. For example, the Titan coin. It's like, that I mentioned earlier. Everybody's afraid. It's down to $0. There's a reason why people are afraid. Now would not be a good time to be greedy about that. About that particular token, Titan token. But in general, yun nga, like the blue chip cryptos, that's the advice I follow. Be greedy when others are afraid, and be afraid when others are greedy. Mark Perlas from YouTube, what do you think of the Shiba? To be honest, I don't know. I've never heard of this crypto before. I've invested some for long-term investment and hoping for it to hit at least $1 each. Ooh. I'll take a look. I will take a look at Shiba. ITX Addict, now that's how you hodl. That's the meme for the Dogecoin. Casey Bolios, congratulations, my stream. Yes, we finally got the stream off the ground. Still iffy on crypto because at the onset of the pandemic last year, nobody was like, I'll donate to... Everybody has their own reasons for being confused or, iffy about crypto, and that's completely fine. Again, you should listen to everybody's opinions and then make your own assessment on if you should be invested and in what coins. Pesto has a good question. New question. Assuming you had 10 Bitcoin and it reached 60,000 US per Bitcoin and you wanted to sell all of it. So that is $600,000. Is there a risk that you might not receive all of it because it's a large amount? Bank regulation, AMLAC, etc. That depends on how you cash it out. I assume you're going to do it via exchange because you can't cash it out by selling it, for example, like Local Bitcoins. Local Bitcoins is a site where it's P2P or peer-to-peer. So you buy directly from other people. If you're selling your Bitcoin like that, you post on Local Bitcoins and say that I want to sell like 0.5 Bitcoin, and people start buying, then they will send the money to your local bank account. That one, probably the bank wouldn't be an issue. They're required by law to report certain transactions. I think it's above I forget the latest AMLAC regulations now. I think it's above, all transactions above 500 get reported. But that's automatic reporting. It's up to the council to actually go through the records and think, oh, this is a fraudulent transaction and things like that. I've never actually heard of anyone getting in trouble with the AMLAC because of a sudden influx due to crypto. But if you're trying to liquidate all 600,000 USD worth, most likely you're doing it through an exchange. And again, that really depends, number one, on the exchange, and number two, on how quickly you transfer it out. Because depending on the amounts, yes, you do raise a lot of red flags, especially like if it's coming from, if it's a foreign exchange, how are they going to send the money to you? Is it via wire transfer? That the bank won't like that. Banks here get super nervous about that. You won't have a hard time liquidating it, especially on the big exchanges. Yung problema, yung fiat currency mo, nandun lang. And if it's a foreign exchange, what are you gonna do with that? How do you get it out? You'll have to do it slowly over time. Yeah. So yes, there are practical considerations. You probably would come up with certain obstacles to eliminating or to getting all of that money quite quickly. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I only saw the latest chat now. Nag-freeze yung video. I think kasi namatay yung camera. Well, it's not like you're losing anything. I was just, waving my arms around and stuff. Nothing really exciting going on on the video. But at least the stream is still ongoing, and yeah, so that's pretty much it. So we covered some news. I covered some of my own trading. So shared some of the things I invested in during the height of the pandemic last year. Still up, thank God. Although, it wouldn't be so bad. Like if if Bitcoin dropped back down to around 6,000, then that would be such a steal, man. And again, I wouldn't mind. Mark Perlas naging podcast. Okay, I wouldn't mind. If prices drop that much, because I wouldn't mortgage my house because my wife wouldn't let me, but I would really dig in deep into my savings if Bitcoin dropped back down to 6,000 per coin, kasi grabe, that would be such a steal. Tataas yan for sure. And again, that's just my own specific opinion, but I would put my money where my mouth is, and I would buy. So even if it were to drop below 29, that's really not so bad for me. These are buying opportunities. So, did some news, did some personal trading, and then lastly, also some investing advice in terms of using staking to earn money while the market is on a downward turn or kind of bearish, or as I like to think of it, frozen solid. So that was it for the first episode of CryptoWatch. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for your patience. This was the first stream got aborted a couple of days ago, but at least now it worked out. Hopefully we'll do more of this. We'll do it once a month. I'll try to put in more graphics and stuff. To be honest, I was just so lazy to put up headlines. China kicks out miners and things like that. Parang ganon. But yun. Thanks for watching. Rafael, my brother, is dropping a video right after this about his brand new iPad. So stick around for that, or keep refreshing YouTube. It'll be up very soon. Thank you. Enjoy the weekend. Stay safe. Oh, and tune in to me tomorrow as we go live from the shop as well. Thanks for watching.